so much, Megan. Can you all hear me now? We're all working now. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'd love for you to drop in the chat where you're from and also on a scale of 1 to 10, how you're feeling today. I'm so glad you can all hear me now. It's going to be so much better that I can be heard and I can hear you guys. So tell me where you're from. Tell me how you're feeling on a scale of 1 to 10. Jacksonville, Florida, feeling so great, 8 out of 10. It's so early for you. So I just love that. Vienna, Colleen is feeling an 8, 9. I love that. Quebec, Canada, feeling tired. Gold Coast, feeling so excited, 10 out of 10. I can feel the magic already. All right, beautiful. Okay, guys. I'm from New Zealand. I'm feeling tired but good. Melbourne, Australia, feeling 8 out of 10. So today I'm going to explain to you a really unique method, okay? A method that I have worked with my guides pretty much over the past 5 years to really get solid in and create a framework for people to move through. And today I'm going to be explaining you this framework. Nell is from Hamburg, Germany. Hello. All right. So if you don't know, and if we've never met before, you know there is nothing I love giving away than scholarship. So I'm giving away a $3,000 scholarship. All you have to do is simply take a photo at any point throughout this masterclass and tell me what was the biggest thing you learned. You can go into the draw to win again and again and again. I'm going to draw this on Monday at 10 a.m. Bangkok time. That's where I'm currently at. So that's where it's happening. So let me run you through today. Welcome to Somatic Shadow Work. This is actually a 15-week course and you guys just happen to land smack bang in the first call, right? And today is just an absolute walkthrough of what somatic shadow work is, why it works for you, and what it is and why it differs from traditional shadow work, right? And I'm going to assume you guys are all empath, highly sensitive people and intuitive. And this is specifically what this shadow work is designed for, right? Because when we are empathic or intuitive or psychic, what we actually are is sensitive. And that's not wrong. We're not too much, right? Some people just don't feel as much as we do, right? So going to a course where we don't feel valid in what we feel, that's what this space is. This is a space just to be in a place full of amazing women who have a deep sense of depth, right? So we can all be seen, heard, and held. So welcome to the first call. If you choose to join us for the full 15 weeks, buckle in for the ride. But I wanted to start this 15-week container with this quote. It's really, really hit home for me. Your emotional mind is the lead system and source of happiness, satisfaction, joy, and love. Now, I want to read that again, emotional mind. Now, not in this, but the rest of this presentation is designed to help you understand that emotions in the body are energy in motion. So we actually need two parts to this quote. We need to have our body connected to our mind to have our emotional mind on. So what that means is that it's going to be a two-step process. You can't outthink your bad thoughts and you can't stop just feeling bad just because you want to. The first time you see it, you're going to struggle to go, oh my gosh, I just realized I dropped my coffee and oh my God, insert every swear word that you could be angry at the universe here just because you were like, oh shit, I became conscious. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have talked to myself that way. It doesn't mean it's going to break the process straight away. but it's going to give you a framework that each and every time you use this methodology, it becomes as easy as cleaning your teeth, right? And that's what a methodology is. You have a methodology to drive a car. We stay 3 meters back from the car in front of us. Someone's too close, we kind of do like the brake light test, and we're just like, are you really like, are we going to be okay if I'm going 110 on the freeway? We have a process just like we do when we drive a car. And so often in this world, when it gets to the methodology about talking about healing, is when we lose it, when we get confused, when we get overwhelmed. And I'm going to break this down into a super easy step for you today so you can understand. And just be really mindful, guys. If I pause, it's just because I'm actually letting someone in. Just because I get annoyed. I'm not sure if you guys get the noise, but people are still churning into this masterclass. So I haven't met a lot of you. So I wanted to introduce myself. My name's Gabrielle. I'm a psychic development teacher, and I help women go from burnt out, busy, and disconnected to embodied, intuitive, connected self-healers and women living deep freedom. Because the truth is, psychic development is a beautiful healing modality if we let it be. If we choose to learn psychic development in reverence and ceremony, it becomes a way to live life ritualistically in a slow, steady, connected way. And this is my philosophy, right? So, a bit more about me. I've gone from being diagnosed PTSD from childhood and also from a car accident to pretty much living a peaceful life with no more nightmares or having anxiety attacks from these situations, which for me is all I ever wanted with my life. And it was the goal of healing. Now I've transcended that and I'm still healing things that I didn't realize that every single day I was unconsciously hurting myself. And I'm going to explain why it's unconscious, right? But I used to work over 40 hours a week. I now work 20. If you don't know, I'm a digital nomad with the love of my life, literally just like traveling around the world, figuring out what I want to do, right? And it gets to be this good. Life gets to be good. It gets to be easy. And the only thing that takes away from that is the fact that we don't know how to heal, right? And this framework that I'm going to give you isn't going to work 100% of the time. What I mean by that is you're going to implement it again and again and again and again. And it's going to work each time for you in a different way with a different problem. So I wanted to walk you through what I've created and what I do in my business. So you guys are today in Somatic Shadow Work, which is a course that comes out of my practitioner training. I run a school to help people become a psychic healer, to understand the psyche, the mind, the body, the spirit, okay? And you are currently doing one of the mini courses in this big container today. So the reason Somatic Shadow Work is made for empaths, intuitives, and psychics is because that's what I do. That's who I help. That's the women I bring into the world to help them become the next healers, leaders, and trailblazers of this society. So if you jump into Activate Your Inner Psychic, you get access to everything that I do. And today you're just experiencing the masterclass, the first class of Somatic Shadow Work. So you're probably asking me, cool, Gab, so much information already. What is it? Why is it? And how do I do it? Okay. So Somatic Shadow Work is designed for sensitive souls. And I want you to keep this in mind, right? Because I'm not just saying to you, hey, stop thinking that. And that is not the process of Somatic Shadow Work. It's not like, how do I just stop and integrate? It's actually a step-by-step process that is going to give you the tools and foundations you need at every stop along the way. So for us empath intuitive people, how we have a deep, deep, deep resonance with energy. Who here can walk into a room and just pick up on the vibe? Hello, my fellow angels, right? So if you are deeply sensitive to energy, you can feel your way into healing, right? If you have this methodology and framework, what happens is you actually have a way of going, wow. So I went to a psychic and they told me I had a throat chakra block. Instead of just feeling like you've got to go back to them, what I will be teaching you is how do you feel into this block? How do we see what this block is? How do we hold this block? How do we question what parts of my life did this come to? And we formulate a plan through the somatic shadow work step-by-step methodology to transcend it without the need of external help. And this is why somatic shadow work is a part of my bigger psychic training, because you can see if you can heal yourself, if you can have a framework that takes you boom, 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 you then actually know how to heal. Healing isn't elusive and it shouldn't be hard, but generally human nature struggles with language. That's why we have so many languages. It's why we feel like we quite can't get across the message like right now, right? And so often in traditional shadow work, feeling your way into healing is seen as wrong. And I'm here to validate if you are focusing on, holy shit, I feel bad today, and using the prompts, using the new ways of seeing, using the methodology, it will shift for you, right? But so often we think that shadow work is journaling. Shadow work is, how do I just get it all out of my brain onto a page? And now that it's kind of the energy's out of my body slightly, we feel better. But we have to remember traditional journaling isn't shadow work. So somatic shadow work is a process that allows us to understand the parts of ourselves we push away or that we're generally trying to accept, manifest, love. So a really common one is, I need more money, or I need to love myself better, or I need better self-care rituals, right? When it's actually, I need more money so I can have more money, right? It is going through levels of integration. And this is what shadow work is. It's the level of integration through learning about ourselves through language. So what happens is shadow work is the mirror to get to know yourself through contemplation and without energy. Because your body is always trying to heal you, right? So we'll go here. I love this. I just wrote this, but I'm on a tangent, flowing with the universe. So how does somatic shadow work do this, right? It is a teaching of a different way of thinking. Who's heard the quote, like, do the same thing, get the same result? Shadow work is learning how to learn about you. Shadow work is learning how to learn about you. Because we didn't get told how to learn about us. No. We sat in school. We learned math and arithmetic. And we all, at some degree of life, go, shit, why am I doing that thing again? Shit, why did I self-sabotage again? What? Why did I fall back into that pattern again? Why? Because we became unconscious, and we learned to be unconscious because we learned to learn about facts and figures, instead of learning how to stay with the emotional charge living in our body. So shadow work teaches us that when we have a physical reaction, thought, or feeling, we push that thing away instead of accepting it. And we become blind to who we truly are. This is often why we feel out of control or do the things we don't want to do. This is not root cause healing. I'm not trying to find out why you do the thing, because we can go down that rabbit hole. Why do I open the fridge 30 times a day? Why do I skip going to the gym? Why? What's another one? Why do I? Oh, that's a really good one. I always never put my shoes at the door. Why do I do that? right? I know the answer now, but that was a really big one when I started. These are the ones that I really struggled with when I started shadow work. These were the levels of problems I was having when I first started this modality, right? And a really cool example of this is, for example, let's say you want a facial. You're like, I need to pamper myself. I deserve to feel beautiful. I don't want the kids for a hot second. I need to be myself. You want it. It's a full body yes, but then you choose to worry about the time. Do I have it? And can I believe that I have the money for it? Right? So thus you don't get the thing because you went into a low frequency, right? And you probably unconsciously maybe then picked up your phone. Maybe you unconsciously ate an apple. Maybe you unconsciously went for a walk. You went and we distracted at some level. Or we went into confusion. I don't have time for that. I can't make time for that. Oh my gosh. And what will so and so think about me? When we're going on these things that I call side quests, we're doing the opposite of shadow work. And that's what I'm here to tell you today. If you are going down these little flips, these little side quests, this is the opposite of shadow work. Because it's easy to tell you what it's not than what it is without teaching you the next 15 weeks. So right now we can integrate this. So what can you work on in shadow work? You can work on self-love, money, time, stress, anxiety. I have literally watched this methodology. Change mother-daughter relationships. Watch people go from anxious to calm. Go from choosing everyone else to choosing themselves and falling in love with their soulmate from a place of being an overwhelmed empath to zen and peace. And it sounds easy. And I want you to know it is easy. When you learn how to learn about yourself and you learn to just be able to hold space with yourself, you're doing the same thing again and again and again. It's just as easy as brushing your teeth. So thank you to all of the 50 something you guys who filled in this chart for me. I sent out a questionnaire. If you don't know what this is, don't panic. You didn't need to. You're so fine right here. So I actually asked you guys, what are the main emotions you sit through every day? And the biggest one was anxious. This means we have a pattern of anxiety, and somatic shadow work is designed to literally help us break the pattern of continuously feeling or thinking in the same way. So think about that. Shadows work's job is to get us out of our default action and get us into a new reaction to completely transform our life. So imagine going from 17.4% of you feel numb and 8.7% of you feel rushed and 43% of you feel anxious most of the time during the day. What would that do for your life? It would completely revolutionize it. So why is somatic shadow work different? It's not love and light. I'm not here to give you affirmations and tell you it's going to go away. I'm actually here to give you real tough love, right? Constant. Tough love gets us places. Not in a tough, mean way, but in a tough, I know you can hold this and I know you can integrate this and I know you can do better. Why? Because I believe in your highest timeline. And as a psychic, it's pretty easy to see your highest timeline, right? So I want you to understand that this isn't just a feel good. I'm going to ask you to go to the messier parts of yourselves, and not the part that's going to spiral you into this depression, but the part of you that's ready to heal, because the body's always trying to heal you. Every single trigger or reaction or negative thought we have has entered your life to go, knock, knock, hello, did you remember me? This is how you reacted last time. How would you like to react this time? Right? And this is what shadow work does. It gives us a system to track how we react, and what we track and make a plan for changes. And this is why it's a methodology, because I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step formula in order to how to do this. So in somatic shadow work, we face our mess head on and we clean it up. This is the real work. This is the deep work. It takes time. I'm still on my journey. I get triggered, angry, upset, unaligned, out of balance. But now how I handle it is as routine as brushing my teeth. It's not an instant methodology, but I've seen it work again and again. Somatic shadow work is emotional and logic. It's an approach that incorporates the woo, the energy work, the quantum work into processing the emotion that's stored in our body, because every emotion that isn't expressed is depressed. And those depressed energy, which can get stuck in our chakra system, in our stomach, in our hips, in our back, in our neck, in our feet, are our stored shadows. And sometimes they're not our shadows, sometimes they're collective shadows. So now we know we're doing 2 types of shadow work in this course, right? Collective shadows are ones such as witch wounds, psychic wounds. They are collective shadows, collective wounds around media or outlets or what we think is a collective. A really cool one I heard from one of my Canadian clients this week is like, Canadians don't need as much as Americans. I never heard this. I'm not an American. I'm a traveling Australian. I have 7 currencies currently in my wallet, right? You have to realize that you've taken on generational stories that we've so normalized. And these are called collective shadows. And you learn this in somatic shadow work as well. So you're not just going to learn about yourself, but you're learning about the rest of the world. And once you start to know the rest of the world's shadows, you start to become psychic. And if you're already intuitive or you're already empathic, you're already feeling it. So this gives you a way to move through it. So somatic shadow work, I just really want to pick up on this last little line here. I just keep moving you guys around my screen. But your somatic shadow work allows you to navigate your inner world and emerge stronger and more self-aware. That is the end result of shadow work. To be able to navigate your internal world, no matter the chaos, no matter the problem, no matter if you're tired, hungry, pissed off, no matter if the world's falling apart, no matter if your kid's screaming, you know how to regulate yourself so you can regulate any other human. So, as I said before, somatic shadow work is learning how to heal naturally, because the body, through all of its emotional cues, energy in motion, is trying to say, hey, I'm your healer. But we don't know what to do with the healer. So this is the step by step. So all of these will be broken down into documents that you'll receive and know how to move through with voice over audios and everything over the 15 weeks. So the steps of shadow work is about first learning that you are trying to remember your unconscious self. You're trying to integrate all of the parts of you that you've not allowed yourself to see or you have forgotten, i.e. the times that you didn't know you were driving home. That was unconscious. The time you realized you were eating something you told yourself you weren't going to eat anymore. Or when you found yourself back again in the lunchroom making another coffee you know you didn't need, but you clearly didn't want to be where you were because you were triggered by some situation, right? So understanding the philosophy of shadow work is always the first step, and understanding the somatic aspects, that energy in motion is emotion, and somatic shadow work allows you to integrate or change the energy and belief in your body. Then we become aware of the emotion. We've now become aware. So we're going to say, let's say here, let's choose a shadow. What's one that I talk about right now with my clients? I've got a client and she's learning to hold a larger sum of money in her bank account, right? Every time she buys something, she has a reaction that goes, should I be buying that for myself? Right? Now, what we have done is we've through the lens, we've realized we become our unconscious self who doesn't know we now make a larger sum of money and that we can regulate in this area of our life, right? So then we become aware of the emotion. Then we're going to go and connect to this energy. So we finish shopping, we bought things today, we come home, we unpack the groceries, we sit down for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long your practice is. And you go, okay, so when I said that, where did where was that alive in my body? And we learn this deeper connection to our body through somatic shadow work. So if I'm saying this and you're like, I don't know where my feelings sit in my body, don't panic. That's what the 15 weeks are for, right? So what it is we're then knowing what this reaction feels like in our lived experience. So we can catch it next time and we can start to break the pattern with awareness. And what comes with somatic shadow work is note and ways to hold this information so it's not consciously another burden for you to carry, but something that's just so easy for you to do. So then energetically we connect to it. We're like, what shape are you? What are you trying to teach me? How do you feel in my body? Can I move you? Right? And then we go into, how do I not spiral with my ego? Things that our ego spirals us with are, I don't have time to sit down and do the work. I have so much shame that I'm not spending the money and I'm not even broke and I should do better because there's like 4 kids in another country and like I should feel better about it, but I actually feel guilt, right? So we start to notice energetically what's under the energy because we're spending time with it. We're getting to know ourselves. We're integrating. And then how to think about our emotions and stored energy. This is a huge one. This is something that really comes from week 12, where you can go, silly bugger, that's dumb. Won't do that one again. I've written it down in my notes. I've written it down in my calendar. I now know what I'm trying not to do. So often we don't know what we need to do in order to move on. And this is what shadow work gives us. And being in a community of people trying to be better and to better themselves gives us so much energy, inspiration, and awareness, and a community to talk to each other about what our stored energy is and also reach for support. Then we learn to neutralize, move the energy, and integrate any stored energy that wants to stay. So this is the framework I use and teach through in 6 weeks. So this is how you bring a shadow to the surface in order to integrate the energy. Whether you've been to psychics before, they've probably brought up to you your unconscious shadows. Why? Because they live in the body somatically. So if we have a poor mindset with time, let's say I'm a really, really, really busy person, right? And I am trying to heal a shadow on time, right? What happens is I'm going to use that shadow to not heal myself on time. I don't have time to heal. I don't know how to do the work. I don't know how to get there. But shadow work is going to bring us back into removing the rush, overwhelmed, shame, fear, guilt. It's going to teach you how to start to neutralize this energy that's in you so you can continue to move forward until you're out of the pattern and you've neutralized it and integrated it. And healing will always change. So I'm just going to annotate something real quick. So this is what I call healing in a visual representation form, right? Let's say I started right here with the time story that we're using right now. I started here and then I learned that every Friday at 3 p.m. I take 2 days off for myself, and I finally learned to integrate that and hold that, and I have space, and now I'm learning to breathe, right? Then you realized you could see a different alternative. You could get a different job that allowed you more time. You're actually, throughout your whole life, you're going to keep healing this over and over again if you can hold it here, sit with it, and learn to neutralize it. You have the ability to fully heal yourself, transcend your life, but you have to realize it's not instant. And that's okay, because the whole point of this life isn't because one day we're going to make it. It isn't because something big's going to happen. It's because we came here because we wanted the journey from birth till death. You're on it. This is it. It doesn't get any better than you let it get for yourself. Right? And this framework can help you make it better. All right. So To recap, every emotion or trigger has always been trying to heal you. You've never been too overly emotional or too much. You've simply been in an environment of people who can't heal or self-accept or have done shadow work. And that doesn't make you wrong and them right. That doesn't make them right and you wrong. It's just a fact. I wasn't too much. I was just in a room with someone who can't accept all that they are. Because everyone, we are one thing, we are one source, we are one creation. If you've ever heard of the concept of oneness, if you haven't, write it down to Google it. I am you, you are me, we are all energy source, we are all from the Big Bang, we are all the same particles and stardust. I am you, you are me. Most people can't accept themselves. It doesn't mean you are wrong. And learning to hold that is what shadow work allows you to do. So how do you start healing today? I'm going to tell you. Realize today is start one of a 15-week journey that will continue on August 5th. If you want to continue, I'll talk through that. But the first step of healing is being aware you're already sensitive and accepting being more sensitive than most often leads to picking up of a lot of external cues in the external world and has deprived us from our internal world. Right? When we're sensitive or an empath, and if you guys haven't seen my last masterclass, this one kind of follows. And we talked about the auric field, right? And most empaths have a really, really large auric field. So if I'm sitting in this room and someone's sitting here next to me, they're in my auric field, they're in my energy. I am them and they are me. We are receiving downloads from each other if we're open and sensitive and willing, or unconsciously open, sensitive, and willing. Right? Doesn't have to be integrated in a good way to make it be a shadow. Right? So learning shadow work brings in our aura field, protects our energy, and brings us back to our internal focus. So how to start healing today? I want you to start to track every time on your phone. I have this thing called a shadow shit note. I have recently updated the name and called it all the amazing things I'm integrating that changed my life, which will be in the course. You'll go from one to the other, but start with shadow shit. It's really catchy. You're always like, that shit, put it on the list, right? Language is important, right? I want you to list every time you feel stressed, rushed, anxious, argumentative, happy, sad, angry, confuzzled. And we're going to use that data in the next coming week to really start the healing process. I'm just going to let Michaela finish writing before I move on. I'm going to take some water, so that worked out really well. And if you guys have any questions, just drop them in the chat. Okay, so why you might not be healing right now, right? We have avoiding too much scrolling, which can also be low level dissociation, overeating, undereating, or just in a food spiral pattern, getting reactive and argumentative at, sorry, I should have wrote this better, getting argumentative to get energy out, right? So we get that energy out instead of letting it become our teacher. Like, how do I get you out? Do I go to the gym? What can I do that feels good to release the energy without ever letting it go through your emotional mind or your emotional body, so you know why it's here for you, right? Every emotion is a teacher. And we don't want to blurt it out and give it away. We want to go, oh, I feel you. You're an energetic charge. What can I learn from you? Oh, I want to learn this, right? So this is how it can be so helpful. Watching TV, associating, blaming X, Y, and Z for not living out your dreams, or I'll be happy when I'm X kilos, or I'll finally do that when I have X dollars, or the worst of all, waiting for a universal sign you'll never trust and then asking it again and again anyway. Because that's just a sign of lack of self-trust, which can be worked on in shadow work, right? So why does it do this? And why aren't we healing? Because we live in a society that doesn't give methodologies, practices, or coping mechanisms. There are very few modalities that incorporate deeper emotional regulation tools while integrating the woo, mindset work, energy work, and shadow work, and of course, emotional intelligent work. When we really want to start healing, it's not about our emotions 100%. It's about how we hold the emotions, think about the emotions, and how we then plan to move that energy, that feeling, that emotion through our nervous system to release it. And this is exactly what somatic shadow work will teach you. So, what is healing? I'm going to give you a super quick rundown on polyvagal theory. So, polyvagal theory is a beautiful system, and I want you to imagine a traffic light sign right now. And green is good to go, right? Green is good. We are in the present moment, feeling grounded, not stressed, not running around. We're like, why are you doing that thing? That doesn't seem as fun to me. Quietly to ourselves, we're really thinking about life. We're like, and why do I do that? And so often we don't realize the modern technology has trained us to stay out of social engagement. We have our phone dinging all the time. We have emails from the boss. What do you feel like when you have to go see your boss? Like, what happens when you feel like you should be doing more, right? We go straight up into this amber zone. I'm going to call this the amber zone today, guys. We go straight up into the sympathetic nervous system and into our fight and flight response, right? And we go into this like contraction. Does everyone know what this contraction is that we feel when we're triggered? And it can be, we can be triggered and laugh. We can be triggered and anxious. We can be triggered and angry. We can be triggered and arrogant. There's not one type of trigger. It's not because you're yelling. You're triggered when you think I should be doing more than I currently can, right? And we go into this amber zone. Then we go up into the red zone, which is freeze, dissociation, numbness, depression, shutdown, shame, trapped. I don't know how to help myself. How do I book a reading? Who can support me here? I need a new therapist. And we kind of go into this spiral, right? We kind of come back down and we go, who can help me outside of myself because I don't stay here for long enough? Somatic shadow work is designed to get you to stay deeper and deeper in ventral vagal, in this beautiful green zone of openness, communication, and love. Right? It's not a quick fix. You can go from living here for 6 hours a day to 6.5. It will absolutely revolutionize your life because you get half an hour more of rest and digest. If that half an hour is before sleep, you're going to sleep deeper. If that half an hour helps you to do more work, that's dramatically going to impact your life. And then that half an hour will move up. It's not a quick fix, but it is a long lasting fix. So this is what healing is through the lens of somatic shadow work, learning to stay in this open heart space area, being open to life, feeling what's alive for us, and just enjoying the journey that unfolds, even if it's chaotic. Like this life can be chaotic and you can enjoy it. It doesn't have to be peace and calm and routine for you to stay in a ventral vagal state. Like I don't have a house right now. I'm traveling country to country. I spend more time in airports and I'm more regulated than I've ever been. And people are like, aren't you feeling chaotic? And it's like, no, because I got a tool and methodology to help me. And this is what everyone deserves as a bare minimum, in my opinion. So to sum up, what is somatic shadow work? It isn't about asking the right question or journaling. It's a way of learning to think and learning to hold our feelings to remove the stored energy in our being. It helps us become so aware that we recognize our feelings are our highest self simply trying to heal us. This method teaches us how to make deep change without shame, blame, or low frequency energy at play. Thus, you achieve everything you want in life because you're learning to stay regulated, open, and you know how to contemplate the things that come up, right? And that's what we're going to learn. So, what can somatic shadow work heal? Emotional trauma, confusion, people pleasing, negative thought patterns, unresolved past issues, anxiety, depression, low self esteem, relationship complex, Inability to speak your truth. I should have written that there. That's the first one. Inability to speak your truth. That's number one I generally help people with. Limiting beliefs, lack of self-love, fears and phobias, shames and guilt, chronic stress, emotional triggers, burnout, anxiety, energy problems. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Have you heard this quote? How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you've got one thing that can take you out of confusion, it's also going to take you out of anxiety, burnout, energy problems. Why? Because the answer is only found in social engagement. That's it. That's what healing is, being open to it all, being able to feel it all and have the tools to back you when you're down, right? So any emotion, right? This isn't all the emotions in the world. This is the good one in English, right? The energy that doesn't get expressed gets depressed in the body, right? So if you're anxious and you play in this loop, if you're worried, if you're in low vibration and you just think, I've got to just sit down, buckle down and get it done, and the fear will go away, but you actually live in that pattern over and over again, this will be a great strategy to help you remove the stored stuck energy. So I want to give you a special offer. So for anyone who wants to come on the journey of somatic shadow work and learn through my principles, my methodologies, and my teachings and learn how to integrate, you have 4 days to grab this offer. So I'm saving you $1,111 and you're getting this for 2,222 AUD because we're all from all over the world, including myself, right? And this is something you just keep forever. This is something that's going to be there that you can log in and log out of for the next 5 years, right? It's going to be there to support you. You're going to have Google worksheets that you go to whenever a problem comes up. You're going to have a practice that's going to support you when shit hits the fan. You're going to have a set, a Bible, a regulation practice that will become as easy as brushing your teeth. And that is the purpose. That is the whole purpose and reason for this course and my purpose. And if you've listened to this and you're like, Gabs, that sounds amazing, and you want to learn psychic development, you want to go full in, you want to become a healer, you want to not just heal your mind through somatic shadow work and your energy and emotions, but you want to become the healer who understands the psyche, who understands why it's stuck in the energy of other people, you have the option to upgrade to activate your inner healer. This is a 3-part certification, which is backed by IICT, meaning you get access to psychic readings. You learn how to read the Akashic records and psychic healing. So you learn 3 certifications: psychic reading, psychic healing, and how to read the Akashic records. If you want to take your life to the next level of freedom and fully leave the matrix, this is what this course is designed to do: reconnect you to yourself, reconnect you to others, reconnect you to oneness. If this feels like a full body yes, you can book a discovery call with me or DM me on social media or reply to my email. So what this is, you're saving the $2,222. You're getting somatic shadow work for free, and you're getting it all for $7,777. This is a 9-month container. We spent 10 months together of constant work, constant evolution, constant shadow work. Your life completely changes. So what I want to do is I want to open the floor up to any questions if anyone has any. If not, I was super clear, and that makes me really excited. So if this is something you want to do, if this is something you want to invest into, just DM me over the weekend. We'll get you on board. I'll be in my DMs over the weekend. We start on August 5th is our next call. These calls are going to be sent to your inbox and you'll have access to them straight away. I thank you so much, Megan. I'm so blessed to have had you all here. I'm so excited. And I hope to see you all for the next 15 weeks. I hope you've gotten so much value. And honestly, I would love to hear your key takeaways. So just message me. Oh, Ariane, it's so good to have you here. Thank you, Colleen. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening, guys, wherever you live in this big wide world. I'm sending you so much love to your healings and to your blessings. Bye, guys.